Greetings everybody, it's Rob from Save Sour Games, and we're here with the latest announcement from Fantasy Flight Games. It's not really a spoiler because we knew it was coming. They kind of teased it a little bit. We have Vision, the next announced hero for Marvel Champions. Now, let's see how Vision actually plays. So we know Vision comes in, he has a special thing with his deck that allows him to kind of change his form. And we can see some of the cards here, but we'll definitely go into it a bit more. So the first thing we'll look at is his actual cards himself. So his alter ego form is 3 recovery, android. While you're in dense mass form, you gain +2 recovery, so he has a 5 recovery. And while you are in tangible mass form, you get +1 hand size. So he gets a 6 hand size when he has intangible up. Put your mass form upgrade into play. That just means he'll start off with a 6 hand size and will get his setup ability. His hero form is 2 Thwart 0/0, which might be a bit weird, but his ability is density manipulation. Change your mass form by flipping your mass form over. Limit once per round. You guys get 11 hit points. So, obviously we need to see what this actually is, this mass form. So here's intangible. I guess that's kind of him like making himself phase out basically. Vision cannot attack or defend. And reduce the amount of damage the Vision takes from each attack by 2. So right away, this card is really interesting because you can't attack or defend, you can still thwart, that's fine. But taking from each attack by 2 means if there's very small minions, the minions won't even phase you, they can just keep hitting you and it won't even matter. As well as damage from a villain, if it's a low damage villain, is even better. Now, the other side is dense. Mass form permanent, while in hero form, Vision gets +2 attack and +2 defense. So what this does is makes the stat line a 2/2/2 when he's in dense form. And in response, after you change to this mass form, you draw 1 card. So by the way, it says it in the article as well. If you start in alter ego form with intangible, you have a 6 hand size. You flip up into hero mode, you then flip into dense form, and when you flip into dense form, you draw another card, so you actually have a 7 card hand technically in that sense, as opposed to a 5 card that you might normally have. And he's an android and an Avenger. Alright, so what else do we get? Well, we get Vision's cape. It makes sense, he should have a cape. And this cape is going to be the hot topic, I feel like, right here. While you are in dense mass form, you gain Retaliate 1. Okay, that's fine. While you are in intangible mass form, you gain Stalwart. So, this has been a topic of contention for, I know in some of the comments for some videos. I've seen it in some Discord chats and stuff. The question was, would players ever get the ability to have Stalwart themselves? We all know how broken it is. Now, in this case, it's fine because it's the signature card, so I don't think it's that bad. I could see it being a problem if they put Stalwart on an aspect card, because then that's going to probably be an auto-include in most cases, depending on how it works. But this basically means if you have your cape on, in intangible form, you take 2 less damage, and you can't be stunned or confused. That's pretty good. The Retaliate 1 is kind of, 11 health, you probably don't want to take too many hits in dense form, to be fair. But the Stalwart is big, because you can pretty much prepare yourself, like if you see you're going to take a big hit, or get stunned or confused from like the Infinity Gauntlet, because you can see the stones coming, then you can just kind of flip into intangible form with the cape, and it won't fit and it won't hit you. So that's really good. Solar Beam is one of his attacks. It is a superpower, so you can use Death Focus on it. Hero action. If Vision is in dense form, deal 7 damage. If he's in intangible form, remove 5 threat. So 3 for 7 or 3 for 5 are both good. Are both good ones, to be fair. Not bad at all. And it's good you have the option of if you want to do thwart or damage depending on what form you're in, kind of. Overall, pretty good. I like these kind of multi-purpose cards. I think all you can say about that. Then we have Density Control, also superpower as well. After you change to a mass form, discard this card, add a Vision event from your discard pile to your hand. So depending on, if maybe you want to get that Solar Beam back or one of the other ones back, you may want to, Density Control can kind of set you up for that. Phase Disruption. Phase Disruption is another very one that's going to be a big topic. Play only if Vision is in intangible form. Confuse an enemy. Choose an attachment on the enemy with the text hero action or hero response and discard that attachment. So, for 2, you get to confuse an enemy. That's good. And you get to remove an attachment on the enemy without having to pay the cost for it. So say something that requires like 3 resources to discard, or 3 different types, 3 same types, you can literally confuse and then just get rid of it all in one shot. That's really good. And with the Density Control, you can pull it back out from your discard pile to use it again, like they say. The dense form is mass increase. When Vision defends, prevent all damage from that attack, and then stun the attacking enemy after the attack resolves. That's all from 1 cost. Now, obviously, signature cards are supposed to be like strong cards. It makes sense, but that's a the fact that you can pretty much defend, prevent all damage from that attack, and stun the attacking enemy. Now, it's weird it says when Vision defends, because I think by the rules of like 1.4, this should count as a defense card, I believe. So like it's that playing the card should count as a defense. I don't think you have to exhaust to do it, but either way, 1 to prevent all damage and the stun back is insane. You can see some of the cards here, but what does other ones. So a lot of things that, and I'll skip one just to go over it, is his deck has a lot of Android characters. Now, I don't know much about the Android family and the Android characters from the actual comics, but there's some good ones here. So we have his signature ally is Vivian, who I guess is his daughter in the comics. I don't know how that works, but 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health. While you are in tangible mass form, Vivian gets +2, and while you're in dense, +2 attack. So she becomes a 3 thwart or a 3 attack depending on what form you're in. It isn't bad if you can like combo it up. She can be a quick 2 for 3 and then a blocker for you. Pretty good. Victor Mancha is also an interesting one. 2-cost ally, 0 thwart, 0 attack, 1 consequential, 4 health, but reduce the amount of damage Victor Mancha takes from each attack by 1. Which means Victor Mancha can pretty much block minions for you. Pretty, say it's a 2 attack minion, he can block it. It only takes 1 damage, so he can literally essentially keep that 1 minion locked down for 4 turns if you wanted to. And it would take a 5 damage attack to even defeat him. So that's pretty good. I don't know, like you would have to like Voltron him a bit to get him to actually have stats, probably. But otherwise, he's a good blocker. Machine Man is one that I've seen people already excited about, because it's the basic ally. 2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health. When a Machine Man attacks or thwarts, spend up to 3 resources of any type, and you get +1 thwart and +1 attack for each resource. So right away, this gives you the ability to basically do 4, pump up to 4. You can pump up if you have any like dead cards in your hand, just throw it into him, and he can get himself stronger and get more value out of it. You have some of those double, triple resources. Power of All of Us, for instance, you could put it into him to get 2 resources, and he can be a pretty interesting android card. Now, with all that, you may be asking yourself, I know there's more, don't worry. There's a lot of androids, what we're going to do with them. Well, good thing we have the 616 Hickory Branch Lane. Alter Ego action. Exhaust this card to search your deck and discard power for an android ally and add it to your hand. Shuffle. This is probably this is the only card in the Vision pack that I'm probably a bit hesitant on, because it's very specific for android allies. I know we're getting a bunch of them in this pack, but are we going to get more androids? That's the question. Because we have the signature ones, we have a lot of ones in protection, but like if you want to play a leadership version of Vision or a Justice Vision, are we going to get more androids to make this card actually worth it? Because if you're not, you're basically using this card to get you Vivian and maybe Machine Man. Otherwise, it's pretty... I mean, there's value in getting Vivian back and such, but to have a card just to get back one ally only seems a bit weird to have it to kind of worth playing it in your deck, depending on how you build your deck. But we'll have to see. We don't know all the cards, and I'm assuming that we'll hopefully get more androids for the other aspects to kind of make it fair. Speaking of ones, we got Jocasta. Now, Jocasta is, I know, one that people have also liked a lot of. 3-cost ally, 2 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health. And she has a response after she enters play. Choose a defense event in your discard pile and attach it to you face down. Now, this is really good. Someone pointed out, because when I saw this, my initial thing was, okay, it's kind of like the Black Panther card that we're seeing in War Machine, where we got you get a leadership card and you can put it on him. Or leadership event, I believe, is what it specifically states. But this one says a defense event, doesn't say protection event. Which means it can be a defense event of a protection card. It can also be a defense event from your signature pool as well. So for instance, you could pull back Mass Increase is a defense event. You can pull that with Jocasta. You can pull Wiggle Room back if you're playing Miss Marvel, and so forth. It is a defense event, doesn't specify protection. So all of these are able to be pulled by Jocasta, then it can just sit there until you need it. And then, maybe you draw that one time you draw like, 2 Never Back Downs in your hand, and you're like, oh, I don't need both of them right now in my hand. So you discard it and you get one back, so you always have it there ready. Now they say Defiance. Wait, so one thing I like about Defiance, before I go into the actual card, is the flavor text is Shang-Chi. I'm assuming that might be Shang-Chi as well in the picture art. Which means we might possibly, who knows, maybe we'll get Shang-Chi in the future as a possible hero pack. Especially with him being in the MCU now. When a boost card on an enemy attacking you would be turned face up, discard it instead. It's not bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a bad card. Now, the issue I think people are gonna have to understand is people have to realize, and I hope that they don't play it wrong, it says when a card is gonna be turned face up, which means you can't flip the card and then play Defiance. So you have to Defiance before you actually see what it is. Now, there's ways to actually obviously look, of course, but that could be like if you don't want to risk taking a 2 or a 3 boost damage, or maybe there's a boost icons or a boost effect that might be really bad, you can discard it instead. So could definitely have some play. It's also cheap at 0, so it's not a bad card either. And then you can use that to play Flow Like Water, which I'm guessing also looks like Shang-Chi, maybe. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. After you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. That is another good upgrade. Now, the reason why I'm kind of a bit iffy on these upgrades is I kind of feel like, depending on how you build your deck, like we have Hard to Ignore from I think the Drax pack, and those kind of defensive upgrades, unflappable, like eventually you'll get so many defensive upgrades on the side, energy barrier, that you have a lot of stuff going on, but it feels like that your turn really plays more on the enemy's turn than on your turn. Just gotta be careful about that. But it's not a bad card, especially if you have a lot of defense cards in your deck. Being able to just defend, deal 1 damage back, even if it just pops a tough off, or just slowly whittles down the villain, is really good. And then we get Reboot. 1 cost event, ready a friendly android character and you heal 1 damage from it. Now this is good for Vision, he's an android. This is also good for Jocasta if we get some thwarting ability. This is, I think, probably a really good card for Vivian, because she gets a 3 thwart or a 3 attack. You use her to attack, you reboot her, which is why she's probably in this thing that's her in the art. Heal 1, and you're ready, you can do another 1. So essentially a 1 for 3, basically, which is pretty good. Again, I hope we get more androids besides the ones in this pack. I'm not sure what's coming next, but I think if we get more androids, there'll definitely be some fun android stuff that we can play with. Now, with that, let's discuss what we think about Vision. Just from the preview, obviously when we actually get the pack, we'll go full on in depth in reviewing the cards themselves. But just looking at Vision himself, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the Vision pack. I wasn't sure what I was going to get from the Vision pack. I wasn't sure like how the cards would play, or like what his abilities would really be like. And they seem to be pretty cool. He definitely seems to have that, like, you know, intangible form allows him to pretty much just kind of avoid everything. And then dense form is when he really wants to like deliver the damage and kind of be unstoppable. Having that fun thing is fun to play with. You can, I believe, it should, unless they change the rules, changing your mass form should count as changing a form. It should be able to trigger cards like Moxie, trigger cards like Ready to Rumble, because you change your form. So being able to, you know, a thwart for 2, flip over to dense form, discard Ready to Rumble to ready yourself. That's now you can attack for 2 as well. Have all these different ways to play. I think it's gonna make Vision a lot of fun, and I'm actually enjoying this because I feel like Vision kind of fell away for a while. Like we had Vision, the leadership ally Vision, I felt like got a lot of play back in the day, and like when all we had was the core set. and he was like this 4-cost ally that could really pump himself up every turn how you want him to. And then like as we got more and more leadership cards, I feel like less and less people ever used Vision because he was a bit too expensive for what he did. So this nice to get Vision kind of back in the mix of things. So definitely excited to see when Vision comes out. I don't know if they've officially given early 2022, so we ain't seeing him this year. But next year we'll definitely see him, and that's gonna be fun to play with. So hope you guys enjoyed this little preview of Vision, and we'll make sure to follow the channel for more Marvel Champions content. Thank you guys.